have any problem, you can stop me and you can ask me. And if you don't have any problem, that's well and good. Now, can anyone tell me why we need to learn history about something? What do you think? Anyone?
Sir, to know the background of the particular thing and also to understand from where it emerged and why we are going to use it in future.
Okay, very good. So please tell me who is talking. Because I can't
Sir,
see.
me Ankita.
Okay. So, well, Ankita, you said that we should study the history of anything to know about the origin and why we are going to use that thing. Anyone will add some more? Because I guess everyone.
Sir, actually, we also need to know the history because we need to know if a programming language is introduced, then what was the basic purpose of that particular language to introduce itself, so that basic orientation can be built.
Okay, forget about the programming language. I am just asking that why we should study history of anything, not only the programming language. It's a very basic question.
To get a basic idea of that particular subject and be respectful to the subject.
Definitely, we will gather some knowledge about that particular subject. But I am thinking that you should answer something more. Anyone will try? Okay, so one important aspect of studying the history of anything is that so that we may not repeat the same thing again, isn't it? So if the Python programming language has been developed and we know the history behind it, so we don't repeat that thing again because that is already done. If you know the history, then only you can start thinking something new, some innovative idea you may develop from that kind of previous knowledge. All right. Okay. So the history of Python starts with ABC. Now ABC is a programming language. It's a general purpose programming language, very old ancient programming language, which was developed in some lab in Netherlands. Now that particular programming language was influenced to design the Python. And I think those who have done some courses on Python, they have already know how this Python name has evolved. Yes, isn't it? They're very interesting. So every biologist may think that Python means some snake. So is it a snake? Is it a kind of snake?
Hello?
Yes, I can hear
Biological
you.
it is a snake.
Yes, one by one.
আপনি তো 3টে 3:30 নাগাদ বলেছেন।
Who is talking?
12, okay sir. ঠিক আছে। হ্যাঁ, ঠিক আছে স্যার।
Arithro, can you mute yourself?
না আমি আমি কথা বলছি।
Arithro.
ওকে স্যার।
So Python was developed by Guido von Rossum in late 1980s. And at that time, one project was ongoing that is named as Amoeba. Okay. Now that program was written uh, in the using the language ABC. Now what happened? So what about the name Python? This name has come from a British humor. That time one TV serial was very popular, and that name was from that name, Guido von Rossum took this programming language name. Nothing serious about it. Now, it is not a type of snake. Now he mentioned in his one chapter that over 6 years ago, in December 1989, I was looking for a hobby programming project that would keep me occupied during the week around Christmas. Now, my office would be closed, but I had a home computer and not much else on my hands. I decided to write an interpreter for the new scripting language I had been thinking about lately, a descendant of ABC that would appeal to Unix or C hackers. I choose Python as a working title for the project, being in a slightly irreverent mode and a big fan of Monty Python's Flying Circus. Well, he mentioned in his book that how he has got this idea of any particular programming. Seema, can you mute yourself? All right. Now, in every history of any kind of programming language, will have some versions. So probably you already accustomed with this mm, Android phone version, right? So every time it is keeping updating, and you need to install a higher version of that to keep all the documents safe and to run the program very efficient. Now, this is also has the same history that Python, uh, from the very beginning of the Python programming language, when it was built by Guido von Rossum, and he labeled the version as 0.9.0. Then Python 1 was came, and then Python 2.0, Python 3, and now also you will find that when you run the Python, at the top of the line, you will find that which version of Python you are running. Okay, so I suggest that when you are installing your Python code in your computer, so try to install the higher version, because many times you find that the previous code will not run in higher version of Python. So you don't need to remember all this history in detail, just to remember that how the Python programming name has originated, and which programming language is actually used to develop this kind of programming language. Means which programming language influence this Python programming. So there are such programming language known as ABC language or Modular 3. These languages influence to develop Python program. Now, next question is, why do people will use Python? So it's a very usual question, and you know that the programming language like C or Java or Perl and many more already was there. So why suddenly people will use Python? So obviously there will be some reason, and the reasons are as follows: that this Python code, if those who have already done some code in Python, they will obviously agree with me that this is very easy to write, first of all, and then it is easy to read, and also reusable and maintainable. So this is very much useful. These properties are very much useful to build some software. Now, obviously, you are in biotechnology course, and you will not agree with me that why we will write Python code and what is the requirement to know Python in our curriculum. So I can assure you that somebody will go to industry and somebody will go to academia or research in near future. So you will find that you need to install some software to your computer to analyze some kind of data. So most of that software will be converting to nowadays in Python programming, and sometimes you need to know how the program has been installed and what are the properties you need to change to run that particular program. Okay, so in that case, if you know the basic of Python, so you can easily understand the logic behind that particular software, and you can tweak the code if you are a developer or if you are using that software. So you can easily modify that code if you know the basics of Python. All right, and if you are writing something, so obviously your aim will be not to type thousands of lines, but if you can do it in 10 to 100 lines, so it will be good. So Python is a programming language. uh, you will see that you need to write small code to do a big job. In C, what you may compare that in C, when you are running some code, you may write 10 lines, and in Python, only 2 to 3 lines you can do the same job. Okay, so if you are writing less, so you need to debug it less. Debugging means you need to find out where is there any problem to run that code. Okay, so that you can modify that part. Okay, so next is program portability. So when you are writing your code in your computer, so then you can easily transfer that program to any other computer to run that thing. So it is machine independent. Okay, so suppose you are writing a code here in your Windows computer and you need to run it to a Linux computer, no problem, you can do that. You just port that code into the Linux machine, and the program will run as it is. Don't worry. The main advantage of Python is that with this short time period, Python has developed support libraries, a lot of support libraries. Okay, so that you don't need to actually write some long code for doing your analysis. If you just search, you will find that it is already there in the library as a module. So you need to just import that module, and you can use that in your code. That is the main use of Python in biological data analysis specifically. Okay, so you can integrate some other programming language as well. Next is, who uses Python today? Now, if you can read this circular red circular mark, so you'll find that most of the topmost companies or organizations are using this Python programming language nowadays, starting from the Google, YouTube, Dropbox, or GitHub. How is Python developed and supported? This is an open source software or system. Now, what do we mean by open source? Do you have any idea what do we mean by open source? Anyone?
So that means its license is open and we don't need to pay any sort of money in order to use it. So it's free to use.
Right, very good. So it's free to use and it has a large developmental community. So that means you can write a code and you can submit that code to develop the Python community. The other developer will check that whether it is running or not. So if it is running properly, so they will incorporate that in the system. Okay, so that's how the Python developed. So first, and Python is freely accessible, can distribute this code, no problem. But remember that free does not mean unsupported. So it has a support system so that anything you are writing that will not be published because there are certain people who are monitoring this system very well. All right. Okay, so there are certain advantages of Python in compared to Java, Perl, and other programming language in the concept of runtime or memory consumption or source text length, program structure, comment density, reliability. Okay, so you see, uh, if you are running some code and which is requiring less runtime and memory consumption, obviously you will go for that, right? So that's how Python beat all other programming language nowadays. So there are some comparison and nothing else to be here. So I think we have completed this part, a very basic history of Python programming languages. So if you have any question, you can ask me or not, then I'll move on to the next topic. So only 43 people have joined. Oh, why? Anyway, sir, please give us slides. Yes, don't worry. I am an open source person. I will give you all the materials. Don't worry. Okay. So I have already given some material and slides also will be provided. Don't worry about that. Now my aim is not that you will write a very big program within these three months, but 3-4 months. But my aim is to teach you something so that you can understand the logic of writing a code. Okay, so that you can write code future by your own. So that is my job here. So remember that. And obviously the Python code for biology. So Python has been used in multiple companies as you have seen already. So now your job is to identify the biological problem and to solve those problems by using such kind of programming language. Okay. So I'm moving to the next topic then. How to install Anaconda. Now I have already given you one book and one material. So it is not easy to run these steps right now to show that how to install Python because I have already installed this in my machine. So you can see that if I type Anaconda, so it is showing that it is there, Anaconda Navigator 3 app. Okay. So I cannot install it right now, but if you follow this tutorial, I think you will be able to do if you like to run your code in Anaconda platform. All right. So just follow this pipeline. I think it is very easy to follow because all of you are using Android phone. I guess Android phone, all of you are using. So you know how to install some software in it. Okay. So So you need to go to this site and then download this distribution from here. Just going through it quickly. If you are using Windows, so then click here. Then see there are some version problem. So use the higher version obviously. And if your machine is 64 bit, so you choose this one. Okay, so if you are using Windows, so there is also 3.7 version is available. Okay, so how to check whether your machine is 64 bit or 32 bit? So there is a technique. So you go to this PC, right click properties, and you will see their system type, and you will find that here it is written as 64 bit operating system. Okay, now you can choose this 64 graphical installer, right? Okay, so it will be downloaded here. Then you click run, next. So this is a very common procedure actually. So you will get this kind of window where you need to click I agree. Okay, so just one announcement: if this meeting is ended, so you join with the same link. Okay, you join with the same link. I'll complete some more portion from this today itself. So click on this. Just me recommended next, and just check that whether you have sufficient space. Okay, it requires about 3 GB of space, so it is a huge software actually, because many modules are there already. Inbuilt modules are there. The next, and then register Anaconda as my default Python 3.7. You can check this and install. Okay, so you will get this kind of notification. Next, things. Now after installation, if you just type here to see whether Anaconda has been installed, so you type Anaconda, so you will find that the link is here. Okay, so you can click on that and it will open up. So just this kind of window will open up. So next, there are other options also available there. I'm showing you. Just a second. So that is the installation part. Okay, that is the installation part of Anaconda distribution. I think I have already shared this thing, and you can do it by your own. If you are facing any problem in the next class, you can ask me. You can tell me what problem you are facing. So then, if possible, I can try to manage that. Next is okay. So let me check after installation what you will get. So you open this thing, click on that. Now this window will run in the background. Is my screen visible to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So it will take some time because it is a huge program basically. So yeah, so now you can see that this kind of window will open, and there you will find that several applications are already there, like Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Notebook, Spider, Bluebeach, Orange 3, RStudio, and VS Code. So one of you has informed me that you have used RStudio, and see, within this Anaconda distribution, the RStudio is also available to run. However, I am not going to use that thing, and I am not going to use Spider 2. I will only use Jupyter Node. Okay, Jupyter Notebook. So this is a notebook where you can write your code, you can modify your code, you can check your result very easy. So do I click now, or I need to complete the other process first? Okay, so first check what are the other IDE or how we can run program using other platforms. So let's just check this thing. So I've already shared this thing. Okay, Python for kids. So the name has been given for kids, but I found that this is a very useful program for a very useful book for the beginners. Okay, very in lucid languages they have explained why programming is required and how you can run, how you can install the program, and how you can write the code. So just open the book and go to the portion where it is written that very easy. You can read it. But I know you will say that we don't have much time to read all these books, right? So you need to then obviously follow the classes so that easily you can understand what is going on. So here it is mentioned that what is a computer program. So for the beginner who don't know about programming languages, they should know what is computer program. So just I'm reading this thing. A computer program is a set of instructions that causes a computer to perform some kind of action. It isn't the physical parts of a computer like the wires or microchips or card, hard drive and such, but the hidden stuff running on the hardware. A computer program, which I will usually refer to as just a program, is a set of commands that tells the dumb hardware what to do. Software is a collection of computer programs. So this is very basic of computer science. And those who are new to programming language, they can know what is a program and why we need some program and what is the difference between a program and a software. All right. Is there any question? Okay. No question. So then, yeah. So here you will find the detailed guideline of how to install Python in your machine. So you can, if you are not interested to install Anaconda, so you can use the Python site website itself to download the Python program and install in your computer. Okay, so you can use this pathway also. So here the step-by-step procedure has been mentioned, and after installation you will find that it is there in your computer. It is installed already, and you can click on this IDE over there. All right. Now I am not going to Mac or Linux because nobody from your group is using Linux or Mac. But you can see that installation of Python can be done on Ubuntu or any other software or any other Linux platform as well. So there are different techniques. Okay. Now we'll see. So try to install this Anaconda or any other IDE so that you can run your program by your own hand. Otherwise, it will be very much boring stuff. Just any programming language, whether it is C or Java or Python, when the main thing is you need to write your own code. Otherwise, you cannot understand what fault you are doing, what mistakes you are doing. Otherwise, you don't run the program perfectly, and you will not get the result. So my suggestion is you try to install this Anaconda software, Anaconda distribution to your Python, to your computer, or you can use any other IDE. So those who are using uh, already, so from your friends, so you can take help from there. Now, I am moving back to IDE. So if you are using ideally, this is the IDE using the Python 3.2. That means when you are installing your Python from the Python website, so by that platform, you are already installing IDE. So you don't need to install it separate. Okay. So if you see in my computer, I have already used this thing also. So if I type ideally over here, so it is opening. Okay, that means I have already installed this thing in my machine. So just check this. Yeah. So this cell is open up. Okay. So now you can see that in my computer, this Python version is 3.7.4. Okay. Now it is a cell where you can type something and you can run your code here also. No problem. Now remember that the Python so in Python or any other programming languages, the application of such kind of program starts with the counting, right? Because that is the first priority to build one code, that whether I can count something or not. Then searching is obviously there, because in biology, the mostly you will search something, search the position of a nucleotide, or search the position of an amino acid to a protein, or you may search the starting point of some gene, isn't it? So that is required. Sometimes you will be using such program or such code to find out some biological problem and to solve that problem using Python program. So let's check that Python program itself is a calculator like a thing. So this is known as prompt. This triple arrow is a prompt. Okay. So if you type something, suppose I'm typing 1 plus 2 and then press enter. So you see that it is giving the output as 3 here. So the result is coming on the fly. When you are running this, so this is the code in Python. That easy. Nothing to do. 1 plus 2 and you are getting the result. Okay. So this is a simple code. Now you can type any other thing also. 4 minus 2. So you are getting the result. All right. Now the question is, if I am quitting this, if I am click exit, so what will happen? Anyone? Are you listening, guys?
Yes, sir. Sir, it will probably ask us to save the thing in a directory. Probably.
But okay, you are saying the right thing, but you can save this. You can save this, but I'm saying that if I directly click on this exit, so then what will happen? Obviously, this will not be saved, and you will not get these lines again. 1 plus 2 equal to 3 or 4 minus 2 equal to 2. These lines will not be come back again. Okay, so what we need to do? We need to create a new file. Okay, so just write down the steps if you want to learn this, or you can check it from the website or this book as well. Now you can see that there are two windows. The first one is the cell and second was a new file. All right. So you can write the same code 1 plus 2 and you can save this. So save as the desktop. I am saving this, the test file suppose. So I need to give the name, and it is already showing that it's a Python file. So I don't need to change this. Okay. So just I'm putting the name over here and save. And now if I am going back, now you can see that the test file is created here. Okay, so this is a Python file. So next thing is, if I am trying to run this thing, what will happen? Run mode. See, it is running on the same old cell, but it is not showing any output. What is the problem? Who will tell me? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
So who will tell me where is the problem? You can try. If you are not giving the right answer, no problem. Very simple question. That here it was run, but when I am writing over here, that is also saved as test.py. So Python programming extension is .py. It is already saved there on the desktop. Now when I am running, I am getting that nothing. Why it is so? Now if you can guess what is going on, so the first part of the programming you learn. Anyone would like to try? Yes, Srinivas.
Sir, because in that test.py file, the three arrow marks that are there at the front is absent.
Okay. So you are
The
saying
prompt
that
sign.
this is absent. Okay, fine. So I am writing that thing and saving this and run. Let's check what will happen. Invalid syntax. Are you getting the point? So this is a file. This is not a prompt. Okay, so you cannot start with this symbol. That will work in this working directory only. the cell directory only, but this will not work in the code itself, where we are saving that code. Okay, good try. So if you are doing some mistakes, so then only you will learning something. Anyone else? Those who have already done this course, Python basic, they can try. I think they should know it.
Sir, we would have to run this. I think would have to run this script through the Python CMD, then it can execute it.
Python CMD is not required. This is just Python file itself. So we can run it from here, no problem. But you should remember that the difference. I'm explaining that thing, no problem. So I think this will now close. This meeting will be over. So you will join this meeting again using the same link, all of you, and quickly, so that I can quickly wrap up all the things which left. So see here, when I am typing something, so it is giving the output over here 3 we are getting. How? Because Python already know that whatever you are writing here, that is for calculating purpose. Okay, so they by default they are storing that value and they are printing that value. They are storing the result value in somewhere, and from that place it is showing as a result 3 over here. So this is by default case. But when you are running this thing, only you have provided 1 plus 2, nothing else. Okay, so it is your code, so you need a variable to store that thing. So this is the concept of variable. So suppose you are writing a equal to 1 plus 2. Now the result of a plus 1 plus 2 will be stored in this variable. Variable is nothing but a container, okay, where some value can be stored. So 1 plus 2 is 3 and 3 is stored in A. Now, if you are running, again see, nothing has come. Why so? Because the next part is left. That is, I told you that you need to command this code that you want to show the output. The code is running behind, but you cannot see the result, cannot see the output. All right. So you need to command this computer that, okay, now you can show the result. So for that purpose, what command is required?
So print A.
Very good. Print A. That's all. Just like you are commanding, print this thing, print the variable, and the syntax is print within first bracket, write the variable name. That's all. Now if you run, so you are getting 3. Okay. Got the concept? How you can save your code, how you can save your code for future purpose. So now if you close these windows, just I am closing this one, no problem. Now you click on this test.py program in your desktop. Double click, it will open. Now you go to run, or F5 you can press. it will run. Okay, very easy. So this is the first part. You should know how to interact with this IDLE. And now we are moving on to Anaconda. Is there any problem? Is there any doubt? Anyone till now? You can ask me anything, no problem. Because you see, I am not a programmer. Okay, I am not a programmer. I have done my BSc and MSc in biotechnology. Then I have done my PhD in bioinformatics related field. And in the time of PhD, I learned some code to analyze my data. That's all. I'm not a programmer. So I understand that being a biotechnologist, you may face some difficulty in coding. So my advice is you can ask me if you have any simple doubt. Maybe you are thinking that very much funny. Maybe why I will ask that. No problem. You can ask that. Whatever funny things is this. Okay. So if you are printing something, then only you will get the result over here. Otherwise, you cannot. And the next time, again, you are not saving this output. Remember that. When you will close this file, when you will close this cell window, so your result will go. So obviously, next time, when 4 to 5 class after, we will learn how to save this output. Okay, so that is the problem of file handling. So I'm not going to the details of that part right now, but you should understand that if we are running this code, we are getting the output over here, but as soon as we close this thing, that result has not saved anywhere. That result is gone. But that is not our purpose. Our purpose is to save the output as well. Okay, so that is the concept of file handling. We'll learn it after some class. Okay, now I don't know, this is just running. Well, but that was scheduled for 45 minutes, right? I don't know why it is running. Anyway, next, what will cover? Okay, ideally part we have already covered, and now I am going to show you the Anaconda navigator part. Okay. Now it is already installed in my computer, and I can click on launch button over here. So what will happen? A browser like this in the it is Edge, I guess. Yes, Microsoft Edge. So if you are using some other thing like Chrome or Mozilla, so that will first time it will ask you by which thing you will want to open this platform. So it is already by default opening Microsoft Edge, so no problem. So there you will find some folders. Okay, so now I have already downloaded something here in this document, that is a Python course, full course. So those who are very much interested in Python programming, so they can join this course. It is a very useful course for the beginner as well as some advanced person. So that is Python 0 to Hero. Okay, Python 0 to Hero, it's a very useful course in Udemy. So I will mostly follow this example from here. So you see uh, this notebook, IPython notebook is already there, which is the property of Jupyter notebook. Okay, so in Jupyter, the notebook are saved as IPYNB. So that is the extension when you are saving something, notebook file. And if you click this, it is already saved. So you can create a new one. You can create a new notebook, no problem. But it is already there. So you see how to use this notebook first. So there are different tab. You can see file, edit, view, insert, cell, kernel, widget, help. Okay. Now each cell, in each cell, there are some command already written there, or some description is given there. Let's say, for example, this one or this one, right? So these are examples. These are description. Now from here you can see that this is the cell. Where's the same thing? 2 plus 1 is the addition problem, basic arithmetic. So now how to run this thing? So you can run it from here. Okay. Now you can see the output here. Is it not so easy? You don't need two windows at a time. You can do it in one window and you can get the result away. Okay. So this is the very basic thing using Jupyter Notebook, how you can write some code and how you can run some code. Okay. And you see what are the advantages of this. Now, suppose you want to delete this result. Okay. So you can write here and you can clear the output. So the output is gone. Okay. Go to cell, choose this and clear. All the output will erase. Again, you can run this. And the shortcut of running this thing is Control plus Enter. Okay. So this is the example of how you can run the code in Jupyter Notebook in Anaconda distribution. Okay. So now you are studying in biotechnology course and you are studying Python as a programming language, but you should learn Python basics. So these are very basic thing in Python, so you cannot overlook this thing. So that's why what are the necessary requirements, that file I will show you and I will run each code, each examples given here, so that we can apply this in biological problem solving in future. So don't think that why this addition is required in biology. Yes, there are certain cases where addition is required. There are certain cases where this kind of division will be required. Okay, so we will start from here. So numbers, what are the different types of number in Python, what are basic arithmetic and difference between classic division and float division, object assignment in Python. Okay. So if you are feeling that I'm going first, so you can stop me and you can ask me any question if you have. All right, so there are different types of numbers. So this is a very basic mathematics. So you know that the numbers may be positive or negative, but they are integer. Okay, +2 or -2, they are examples of integer. But when we are telling that -2.1 or -3.5, so those are decimal points. So these are very easy. So what are the types of integer examples and what are the examples of floating point number? So you understand that very basic logic. Now we will run this thing. So I am just quickly running this thing. 2 minus 1, we're getting 1. Multiplication, we're getting 4. 3 by 2, we're getting 1.5. Now if we write this, 7 divided 4, what will be the answer? Anyone will try?
Sir, probably it will show only the integer part of the test.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Someone has said 1. Very good. Let's try. So it is showing 1. Why so? Because it is a floor division. It is not a simple division. Okay. Now, see, the logic behind this is also explained over here. So you can study from here also. That we are getting this because we are using float division. This slash operator, 2 forward slashes, okay, slash and again slash, truncates the decimal without rounding off and returns an integer result. Okay, so ideally you should get 1.75 if you are running this, because see another example, 8.3, 8 divided by 3, so you should get 2.6, or if you are rounding off, so you should get 2.7. But you don't need that. Suppose you want the integer part only. Okay, so you can use this syntax, you can use this floor operator, and you see only the integer part is taken and it is showing. All right, fine. Now another question, if you are just trying to get the remainder part. Okay, so all of you know the basic mathematics, I guess. So after division, if you want to extract the remainder only, so then you need to use this modulo function, modulo operator. So the syntax is different. So here a double slash you have used, and here you will use percentage C. Okay, to run this, you will get the remainder, isn't it? 7 divided by 4. What is the remainder? 3. So it is showing only the remainder. Any doubt? Any question? I think these are easy, right? Okay, so some more arithmetic. So how you can calculate the power? 2 to the power 3. So you can write 2 star 3. So you will get 8. You can also use to identify the root by using this power concept, because you know root means 2 to the power 0.5 for root 4. So that means 4 to the power 0.5. So you can use this to identify the root of 4. Okay. Order of operation followed in Python. So you should remember that PEMDAS formula. So what will be operated first? It is a division, or it is a multiplication, or plus or minus. So that is very basic mathematics. I am not going to details. Or you can use this parenthesis also to mark which operation will go on first and then which operation. Okay, by that way you can calculate something. Next is variable assignment. Now, in the previous example of that ideally program, we have already seen that 1 plus 2, when we were running in the command line, it was showing, but when we are saving that in a code and we run that, it was not coming, because that was not saved in any variable. Okay. Now I already mentioned that variable is a container, and you can store something in that particular container. Okay. Now, what I am saying container, that in programming language is called an object. Okay. So an object called A, and assign it the number 5. So we can write that thing by using this a equals 5. We cannot say 5 equals a. You may argue that why that is wrong. Okay, so if you are saying that 5, I will write 5 equal to a. Okay. You may argue with that, but it will not work because 5 is not a container, but a is a container. Okay, a or anything else that is a particular, not a, but it is a name actually. It is a variable. So you can write x, y, z, anything. But the logic is you cannot write that variable on the right hand side of the equal to symbol because that will be error. Okay. So if you write this, so it is showing that can't assign to literally. So that is an error. You are getting that syntax error. All right. And if I write this, so what will be the output? A equal to 5. Who will say? If I run this thing, a equal to 5, so what I will get?
Sir, probably we need to run print A, otherwise we won't get anything.
Very good. So see, I run because the number has changed, but it is not showing an output, right? But if I add one more cell and I print A, now it is showing the result. Okay. And remember that in this Jupyter notebook, we don't need to specify that print A. It is already there. So I am not going to write every time print A because already there. Okay. But the thing is, you can notice that when we are running, so their output, this line is showing. But when we are explicitly saying that print A, so that out portion is gone and it is printing that thing here. So don't go to that much of complication right now. You just take home messages. You can write print, or you may not use print at that particular IDE that is associated with Jupyter node. Okay, no problem. Okay, so quickly I am going to another thing now. If I call a in my Python script, so I am trying to add a plus a. So what will happen?
So you will simply add the value of A that we assign, like 5 plus 5, it will simply show the result.
Very good. So it is showing 10. Very easy. Nothing difficult. Now we can reassign this thing. Okay. Reassign this variable. This is a very unique thing in Python, or very useful thing in Python, that in previous lines of a code, we assign a equal to 5. Okay, Ayesha, can you mute yourself? Or you are trying to say something? Okay. So we can reassign this a value. So earlier in this example, we used a equal to 5. Now, in the next line, I can write a equal to 10. So you may think that how it will work, but it will reassign the a value as 10. So if we go and check, yes, it is erased the previous one, and it is taking the value 10. Okay. So Python allows you to write over assigned variable names. So how you can do that? See, now if I write a, what is that? Now a value is 5 or 10? 10, because it will take the last value on. Okay. Now we are writing a equal to a plus a. So what will be that value? So
Can
10
you
plus.
repeat, sir? I just missed.
So I am saying that now I am trying to store a plus a in a, the same variable name. So what will happen?
So then A should be 20 since we have assigned 10 as A.
Right. So that is not the case that we are using a. So what will be there? Again, we are going to use the same variable. So whether it will clash or not? No, it will not clash. It will just override that thing and it will store the ultimate result. That is not a problem. Yeah. Now,
Sir, why we should use the check every time?
okay, but check. Okay, so okay, very good question. So that is not a code line. Okay, what the lines I'll show you in the next that the line which are started with this hash symbol. This is known as hash symbol. So those are actually not read by the code when it is running. So that is a comment part. Okay, so this is a comment. Comment means the code will not read that particular line, but it will read the other line. Is it clear?
Sir, why we should use this?
Okay, very good. Now, when you are writing, say for example, 100 lines or simple 10 lines of code, right? Now you are going to use some variable. Now, if you are giving that code to me, how do I know that what the variable is? Why you are using a? What is that? Are you getting my point? Now you can do that.
Okay.
You just mention that thing a is DNA length. So that portion, this line, when the program will read this line, that portion is not be read. Only the A will read, and that will not hamper the code. Okay. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So next, I'm saying that now this is the variable. What name we can give this kind of variable? Means we can give the variable name by our choice. That is fine. But is there any rule we need to follow? Yes, there are certain rules. So, for example, names cannot start with a number. So if I write 1, already I have given that example, 1 equal to 3 plus 4. So it will not work. Okay. So we cannot start with a number. We can write a equal to 1, no problem. Then it will run, but we cannot start with a number. There cannot be spaces in the name. Now, if I run this, a space 1 equal to 3 plus 4. Again, it is syntax error. So we cannot use this. Okay. So these are the very basic thing. Can't use any of this symbol. If you put this symbol, it will not run. Syntax error. It's considered best practice that names are lowercase. So it is best practice, but you can use if somewhere required. You can use this thing also. Okay. So it will work, but this is not a good practice. So every time you should use the lowercase. Avoid using the characters L, O, and I because these are very much confusing. Lowercase L, so it is showing 1. So don't use that. Or uppercase O because it is looking like 0. Or I. Okay. So you should omit that thing. And avoid using words that have special meaning in Python like list or string. We'll see what are these. These are keywords, and we usually don't use the keyword in the variable name. Okay. Now, that is a simple code is already written here, that my income, the tax rate, and how to calculate my taxes, my income multiplied by tax rate. If you write this much 3 line of code, you will get my taxes. So 100 multiplied by 0.1, so it is showing that. So this is a very simple example of this. Okay. Any question from here?
So there is simple gap between the tax and the rate.
No,
Why
no,
this?
no, no, no. Where? This one? This is underscore.
This is
Okay. This is not a simple gap. This is underscore. Underscore is allowed, except, see, all the symbols are disallowed, but underscore is allowed. So you can use underscore in the name. Very good. Are you getting my point? This one?
but why we use this?
No, this is for simplicity, because I can write this also, tax rate, but it's a single word, and it is it may be difficult to read by others. If it is a single word, so we can separate it, tax underscore rate. So they can pronounce it as tax rate. Okay. Similarly for my income, so it is a single word. We are breaking it to 2 words separated by underscore. That's all. Okay. Okay, so this is completed. Now see, now I want to start a phrase. So what we will do, we'll go to cell, all output clear. So all the results erased, so that I can use this template again and again. Okay, so this is the advantage of using this kind of platform. All right, I am not going to the details of other thing, because when you will use by your own, so you will learn a lot from this simple task. So sometimes you will see that your kernel is hanged. So then you should restart and run this kernel. Okay. Sometimes you need to do that. So when it will come, that problem arise, I'll show you how to do that. No problem. That kind of problem will come. All right. So are you following, or I will end here, because it is already 1.5 hours. What do you think? No, I should complete this 2 also, because after 1 week I will meet you again, right? So you have enough time to complete this thing. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you are in MSc. I think you have the tenacity to go for 1 hour or more for one class. All right. So this is very simple thing I've already mentioned. Just recap once more. What is variable assignment? What do we mean by that? We have already discussed these rules, and then one thing is there that is known as dynamic typing. It's a very interesting thing in Python, meaning that you can reassign variable to different data types. Okay, so that's how Python will become very flexible in assigning the data types, and it differs from other languages that are statically typed. So that means once it is fixed, it is fixed. You cannot modify it. But here you can modify the variable name by reassigning. Suppose I'm saying that this is my variable, my dogs, which contain the value 2. Okay, now if I run this, and it is showing that my dogs containing 2. Now in the next very line, I'm saying that okay, my dogs which contains 2 dog names, Sammy and Frankie. Now we'll see this is a list of dogs which are represented by the third bracket, okay, and separated by comma, and the names are in quotes. All right. So if we run this and if we print this my dogs, we are getting the list of the dogs. Now see the same variable which contains 2 in the in the previous example. Now it is showing the 2 dogs. So it is known as dynamic typing in Python. Okay, so there are some certain pros and cons of this type of use. Pros are very easy to work and faster development time. Yes, it is easy because you don't need to change this variable name every time. But the cons are may result in unexpected bugs and you need to be aware of the type. So sometimes you see this is the list and this is a simple you are not using any list or you can use string. So that kind of problem may arise. So you can check what is the type of this variable. Okay, so how to use that thing, that what is this type. So you can write type and very easy my dog. So now it is showing that it is a list. Or if I had here and type this my dog, so you can see okay, so it is also showing list because that's the problem. Now I need to interrupt this kernel and I need to rerun this thing. Sometimes we are not getting the expected results and then we should run this. Just let me run this thing. Now it is showing that it's the integer because 2 is not a list, right? Are you getting my point? What I'm saying? 2 is the value which is stored in this variable and 2 is not a list. So when we are trying to check what is the type of this variable, so that is showing that it is an integer type. And next, when we are running this and now we are checking that type of my dogs, it is saying that it is a list. Okay, so this should be remembered when you are using such dynamic typing. Now, 2 more things. One is assigning. What do we mean by assignment? Assignment means name equal to object. Okay, so the syntax is in the left hand side we will write the name and right hand side we will write the object, where a single equals sign is an assignment operator. So in programming language, any programming language, you will see that different types of operators are there, and very simplest operator is assignment operator. Okay, so assignment operator is nothing but this symbol. So now is a variable name and the object is 5 here. So we can run this thing and we are getting the value of that object, that is 5. Okay, so we can use this thing in other ways. Now reassignment, we have already done that. Okay, so this is very interesting. We are writing a a equal to 5. Okay, now let's check what it will give. A equal to a plus 10, because we have done this much. A equal to 5 we are taking, and now we are saying that a equals to a plus 10. So what do you think? What will be the value of a now? What happened? Are you there? Where are the participants?
Sir, what did you assign in A, sir? I just
Yes. A equal to 5. Because earlier we have used A equal to 5. Now we are trying to reassign A equal to A plus 10.
sir, you are mute, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir. Now you're audible.
okay. So now if we run this, what we are getting A equal to 25. Okay. Now let me just stop this kernel and do that. Just a second. Equal to 5, equal to 5. Now here we are assigning equal to 10. Now, A plus A 20. Now A equal to A plus 10 equal to 20. Okay. Okay. So how you can, there is a shortcut way to do that. That is, you can write the same thing using A equals plus 10. Okay. If you are writing this, so you are getting the same result. Now that means now it is adding 20 plus 10, because earlier it was 10, 20. So now it is added 10 to 20 and output you are getting 10. My connection is unstable. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Now similarly, these are other applications. So if you are writing this star equals 2, so what you will get, so just like this, A equals to A plus 10. So here A equals to A multiplied by 2 and the result will be 60. 30 multiplied by 2. So these are the shorthands of this thing. Now we have already done this type. We have already seen what are the different applications of finding out the type of these variables. So if we write type A, we will find that A is integer type. If we are using this kind of syntax, A equal to 1 comma 2 within first bracket, and then we are applying this type on that, we are getting that is a tuple. Now this is another type kind of data structure. So we'll see that list tuple dictionary in other class. So just now we have completed the variables. Okay, what are the different types of variables? Then can I take 5 minutes more, or you have any other class?
Sir, we have a class from 12.
12. Okay, so I can take one more section. That is string. I'll complete it over here. String. So what is that? Okay, so biological point of view, strings are very much important. Why so? Because see, um, when you are saying that a DNA sequence or protein sequence, so you are putting some letters like A, T, G, C, 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 or in case of protein also you are saying A, T, G, C, C, C. Now that makes a string. Okay, so this is a text information which is being recorded in any programming language. So that particular syntax or that particular data is known as string. So string in Python actually is a sequence. So that's why this is very important for biological point of view. We should know in detail how we can create these strings or how we can print or how we can index this string. We'll see what do we mean by index or the properties of string methods and print format. Maybe I cannot cover all these things within 5 minutes, but just start that how to create a string. So many times you will see that the first program in any programming language is to print hello world. Okay, hello world. So this is the first program in most of the programming language is written. So I think if you know how to create a string, so then you can write that first program in your Python as well. So it is very easy to write. Only you have to use quote. So that is the single quote or double quote, whatever it is. So it will be treated as a string under the quote. Okay. So you can place it as a single word, or you can use an entire phrase as a string. So whether there is a space or not, that will not be taken into account, but you can assign this whole string as a string, whole phrase as a string. No problem. Okay.
Sir, that means to make a string, we need to put that thing into a single quote. Right?
Yes. Yes.
So
Single quote.
if we just write a number in a single quote, that will also be a string.
Yes. Yes. Suppose you are trying to write this, so that is also within the string. No problem. Okay. Now we can also use double quote. Now there is a confusion whether we use double quote or single quote. Okay. So to overcome this problem, so see, double quotes is also working. Now, suppose you have one quote already there in your sentence, single quote. So then if you are trying to use single quote, you will get an error. Okay, when already another quote is in your phrase, so then there will be problem. So to overcome that, you should use double quote. And within the double quote, if you are using a single quote, no issue, it will run as it is, including that single quote. Interesting, very easy. All right. Now we come to the first program, how we can print this thing, hello world. So you just type this within the single quote and you run this, it will be printed as hello world. Okay. Okay. So now if you are trying to use Jupyter Notebook using this command, suppose you are trying to print two things at a time, hello world 1 and hello world 2, these two things. So what will happen? Okay, so it is showing that hello world 1 and hello world 2. No problem. So next we'll see. I told you earlier that we can tell that we can use print this keyword to print these statements. Okay. So you can use this print statement and then you type this line, you will get the output, no problem. Now here I just wanted to mention that the \n, that is another concept. So \n is for new line. So that's why when you are using the print statement, you see the new line has been created. So from here it is jumped to here and used to print a new line. It is written. So then again another new line. So it is here, new line, and then see what I mean. So these are the syntax. When you will start writing your code, you will understand how to print the statement. Nothing serious. Okay. So how much time I got? Okay, I completed the 5 minutes. Okay, so I think that will take another 10 minutes or so. So let's stop here. So what you can do, you can run this code by your own, so that we can start from here in the next class. Okay, from the string itself. And I will share this code so that you can check in your computer whether it is running or not. All right. Follow. How much? 31. 47 to 31. Any doubt? Any question?
Sir, what is the Jupyter box?
What is the
Jupyter print box or something that?
Jupyter notebook?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, that is the Jupyter notebook where it is running. Just okay, just let me share again. So this is the Jupyter notebook, you see. So this is the Jupyter notebook. This is running in a web browser. Okay. So these are the notebooks. This is already saved. You can create a new notebook. If I type, if I am going to new and create a Python, so a new notebook is created, right? And you can see that a new notebook is created as untitled .ipynb IPython notebook. Now you can rename this thing. So just close this and you can rename this notebook as edit. Sorry. Yeah, now it is coming. I name now we may name it as new notebook. That and refresh this thing. So now you will find that new notebook is here. Okay. So these are the notebooks. You can write your code here. All right. What your answer? Any more doubt?
Sir,
Yes.
So what is the limitation of R so that we need to learn Python?
Not as such any limitation. Okay, so these are the software or program which are basically useful for particular purposes. Like R is very much useful for what I say in data science, particularly for suppose open source gene expression analysis or in biological data analysis. R is used nowadays. Also, R is useful, but in many other way, say for example, you are trying to create a website or you are trying to connect some other platforms with your code. So in that case, R will not be very suitable. So in that case, Python is more advantage. Okay. So there are certain not any limitation of this R, so that we will use Python, but Python has some advantage over R. Okay.
I see, sir. I mean, based on their applications, it is more dynamic compared to
Yes.
R.
Yes. Okay. Then if you don't have any more questions, so I stop here. Okay.